I was just going to show this real quick. I thought it was pretty cool. Continuing to go through the, stuff from moving down from the house. And some of you guys that have been following us for a long time remember this. And this was the original panel that trunk lid, deck lid that came off the Mustang. That's really rusted out on the inside, and had a lot of rust on it. So we just got an aftermarket one, and used that. But we used this one to do our test painting on. And this and a door skin were the two very first things I ever painted. And I've got a video where we first painted this that's got like 300 and something thousand views on it. But not when I did this because I painted it like 4 or 5 times trying to learn how to get metallics to lay out and just get the better comfortable feeling with the gun. But the one thing that we were trying to figure out is what color scheme do we want, what's the candy gonna look like, what pinstripe that separates the two colors. And I did this crazy this was my attempt at putting flames on here, but I had no idea what I was doing, and how flame licks look. And I just came out here and just taped out some stuff and painted it, because I really just wanted to see what the colors look like together, black, pinstripe, or gray, or light gray, or whatever that is. There's copper. But I'm gonna just keep this in the barn. It belongs to Matt, but you can see I just sanded this and painted right over the rust. You can see what happens when you do that. Rust just bubbles up. Wherever it can get oxygen or moisture from the backside, it'll definitely pop back up on you. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys this. I'm out at the barn just putting some stuff in here. All right, well, here's one way that this thing's finally going to get level. People have pointed out that my table is not level when you see the water level, down low in this one corner. But I was doing some cutting out here, and while that was cutting, I had the water hose in this end. And about the time I was doing that, the concrete guy showed up to give me an estimate. And so I walked out there with him, just not paying attention and talking this and that, looking around, and then happened to just come back in here. It's like, oh crap, and caught it, before it got up too high. But it's up over the level of the table on this side, so this will be my chance to get things level. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of leveling here and see if I can get this thing leveled in. Got a couple of levels on it. You can see that's definitely off over to the right there. That should be right in there, about right there, I guess. So it might be off as much as 1/8 of an inch or so on this side, maybe even more. But I'll work on it and bring you back here in a little bit. All right, well, we got those pieces cut out there, and we got our table now sitting level. I think the slats in the table are not level, because you see it still looks like the water is leaning a little bit more this way than that way. But the table, I took the levels off of it now so I could cut, but the table is level now, and I got some blocks. The jacks aren't jacking it up anymore. There's blocks underneath the feet, and I lowered my leveling feet down to get those on the ground, and just a little bit of preload on those. And a lot of people, and it seems like it's mostly guys that don't have plasma tables, will say all that water on your table is causing your problems, and it actually doesn't. The table company recommends having the water all the way up to the bottom of the steel. I mean, it literally just touching it or just below touching it is where they have said the optimal amount is. And I've seen other people say that if you cut stainless steel, you need to cut it underwater, meaning submerge it in water and cut it that way, because stainless is really bad to warp, especially thinner stuff, if you try to cut it any other way. So yeah, we got too much water in here, but it did not, you saw the last part cut out there just a second ago. It did not affect its ability to cut at all. In fact, it probably did the nicest job that I've seen. And this is as cut, and I don't know if that's good. You can see that or not. I mean, there literally is just every once in a while you'll see just a tiny little bit of dross like that. But this is something that I would probably run over that with a scraping burr real quick, and whatever comes off, it probably will all come off quickly. And if there's any left, it's just, you know, it's just so insignificant on there that I wouldn't mess with it, you know. So the combination of the fine cut consumables and the water being up, the water makes a big difference in the dross, and at least I've noticed it. When I first got the table, I wasn't sure where to run it, and I just happened to be talking to him one day about another problem and asked him. But for a while, I had it way down. They're like, no, run it all the way up. You know, that's where we recommend it. That's where we've seen the best results. And I've seen, there's a Torchmate YouTube ad that plays on some of my videos, or when I watch other people's videos, I see it. And one of them showed that they, you know, in this advertisement, they show that they do this optimization thing. They'll cut like 3 or 4 parts before they do a big production run on something, and they'll adjust the water level on the machine, and cut speeds, and, you know, pierce height and cut height, things like that, and dial in the most optimal cut edge and dross factor, and then that's what they'll use. And the one they showed, their optimum cut speed combination with water had the water almost all the way up. So anyway, this will drain down. I'm going to cut a couple flags because I don't have any right now to sell. I'm going to cut 2 flags and get those painted up, and I've got a couple more kind of an interesting thing I'm going to cut here this morning, and I'm going to make a separate video on that. So anyway, guys, I just was kind of showing you the goings on here, so yeah, that's it. I will had a concrete guy came out, gave me an estimate. He's going to start next week. I'm going to do some of the prep work. He's knocked $150 off if I do the just initial removal of the top grass and get it down a little bit. So I'm going to do that, go borrow the Kubota, so I'll have you along on that over the weekend. But let me get this one uploaded, and I will see you guys later on.